What's going on, people? Back with a bang. This is the Money Management, back here to bring you guys some stocks to watch this upcoming week, December the 6th. So in this video, I'm going to break down about 7 to 8 different stocks based on technical analysis, based on news, recent news, based on what they did this past week, based on earnings, all that good stuff. So actually, now that I've mentioned earnings, let's start with that, because a few different interesting stocks that report earnings this week. First of all, a couple of stocks that you may have heard of before, and you might see on the right side here, GameStop. They report earnings after hours tomorrow, and I think this could be extremely interesting. Now, of course, you guys know GameStop is one of those meme stocks. It's had a very interesting year, let's be honest. But this week, I think, it could do some crazy things. I mean, you know what it is like with GameStop, and you know what it's like with companies that report earnings. So that could really get interesting with this stock. Also, a couple other stocks that I like that report earnings this week are Chewy and Costco. So, we might have a look at those later on in the week. But as you can see here, Chewy is getting a little bit of attention in the past 12 hours because this is updated live. So yeah, look out for Chewy as well this week. And it is a stock that we've traded multiple times. Now, let's start off by looking at a few stocks which do look great. I'm going to go with HD, NVDA, and Apple. Just going to have a quick look at each of those three. And also, please remember, I work with my group on a daily basis, much closer. So if you want to be a part of that, then hit the link below to join the Discord or send me a DM, find out about that group. But let's see, HD. So to start off with HD, Home Depot. So this is obviously one of those companies which deal with retail. It's home improvement. But look at it over the past 6 months. It's been on a steady run upwards. Now we've broken the $400 level. What am I looking at with this one? Well, I just think it looks good overall for a long-term buy and hold. I think with HD, if you do buy at these levels, you can't really go wrong. Last couple weeks, it's been kind of consolidating between this 400 and 410, 411 level. So right now it's at 407. I wouldn't really look to play calls on it. I just think this stock looks nice and interesting overall. I also mentioned NVIDIA and Apple. Now it's a little bit different with those two. First, let's go with NVIDIA. Okay. NVIDIA has kind of sold off in the past week or two due to various news. But I want you to remember this. There's a semiconductor shortage right now. So NVIDIA is one of those stocks which is kind of profiting off that. Now, let's look at this. Zoom in on a closer time scale. So this is just last week, December 1st. It was 330. It sold off all the way to this level of support around $300. Now it's at 307. You got room to run to 324, and then again up to 345, close to 350. But one thing you want to remember with NVIDIA is AMD also runs similar. So if you can't afford NVIDIA contracts, you might want to look at AMD contracts. That being said, you still have a very long time to make money off this stock because I believe it is quite undervalued still. I mean, for some of you guys out there, you might think it's overvalued or it's ready to come down. I don't quite think so. I think this strong run it's had will continue long term, just like HD. And speaking of stocks which will continue running long term, of course, Apple. Apple is not going anywhere. There's always rumors about, this could happen, that could happen with Apple. No, Apple still looks great. So we hit all-time highs at 170. We fell down to $161. And this is something not only I would look at for long term, but I would also look at for call options. $170 call options for mid to end December wouldn't be out of range, I would say. If you want to go with something a little bit safer, maybe it's $163, $164 calls with Apple. From the levels we're at right now, I think it sold off and then started to uptrend again. So we might have that confirmation of uptrend. But what you want to do is always look for levels of support, identify support and resistance. Here's a level of support around $159. And there's a little level of resistance around $166. So maybe you want to look at $165 or $166 calls just to be safe. Now, just overall in the market, you guys saw this past week was horrible. If we look at the SPY, S&P 500 index, you guys saw that Friday especially, the market dropped hard. And it kind of came because Powell kind of confirmed, more uncertainty is to come in the market. We've seen uncertainty in the past week. We've seen uncertainty in the past few months. Look at all this up and down movement, up. Look, crazy run for about 3 weeks straight. And then suddenly the sell-off this past week. We've seen uncertainty. So the fact that Powell mentions that this past week doesn't really change anything, to be honest. Of course, like I said, the market dropped hard on Friday. And I actually had some $452.50 puts expiring this Friday, but I actually sold them on Thursday, unfortunately. but it is something that happens. But speaking of this past week, Alibaba, we have to talk about that because we did numbers on this. If you're in a Discord, you know about this. If you're in a Discord, you know that we bought $133 puts, $125 puts, and $123 puts. But Alibaba ran all the way down to $108.80. Check this. Look at that drop. It dropped so far. I mean, look at it on the past week. When we got into Alibaba for the puts, it was around $136. It was, I think, November 24th. Yeah, $136. Look at the crazy drop. I think, you know what, we even need to go to Robinhood to see this because you can't. This chart is not giving it justice right now. I mean, I love Chatterquant, so make sure you guys check out the Chatterquant link in the description below. But Robinhood makes it look bad. Look, Robinhood's going to show you how bad this was. The drop was actually ridiculous. Look at the drop with Alibaba. Look at this drop. That is disgusting. From 100, even November 24th. Here we go. November 24th, $136, all the way down to $111.60, $1.108. That was ridiculous. So that trade did numbers, as you guys know. If you're in the Discord, then you know about that trade. If you're not in the Discord, well, join the Discord so you can get trades like that. But Alibaba is one where it has a support around $110. I think there's still potential for it to drop below that, but I'll have to see it drop below 110 and stay below 110 before I trade it again with some more puts down to $107 level. But yes, I think Alibaba is one that is super uncertain right now, which is helping, people make money with the puts. But again, I don't even know if it's time for call options with Alibaba because long term, I believe this is a strong stock. But with the news of or rumors of Chinese stocks getting delisted, it doesn't look the best stock to invest in right now. If we can start moving upwards, then yeah, we could see some crazy returns and even better returns than the money we made with the put options, because those put options did almost GameStop numbers. So in terms of percentage returns, yes, that was a very nice trade. That was a very nice trade. It fell right to this level of support, $110. Look at this. You'll see now. So it fell right to this previous resistance of $110. That became a new support. And if it does break this $110 level, mark my words, this could go down to 107. It could go down to 80s real quick. Of course, long term, I think it's a great stock again. But I tell you what, this stock has just been getting destroyed. Another Chinese stock we need to look at is DIDI, ticker symbol DIDI. That is one to watch because this IPO'd in around June. Look at this. It IPO'd around $18 and is in the process of getting delisted right now. So it IPO'd back in June. Here around $18. Got all the way up to $18. Now it's all the way down at $8 or even $6. Let's see. It's already all the way down to $6. And since the IPO, looking at this chart, it's honestly ridiculous. Look at this chart since it IPO'd. The gap down below has been crazy, from 18 all the way down to 6. And I don't think it's done because, like I said, they're in the process of getting delisted. So no, this is not a buying opportunity. It's more a put opportunity. I wouldn't mind trading puts on DD. Honestly, at this level, I wouldn't mind trading puts. So this is one of those stocks where you don't buy the dip because there is no dip. It's just going to keep falling down. So please do look out for DIDI for the put options this week. Next, let's look at Square, ticker symbol SQ. This has been on my radar for a while. I think this long term, this is a great play. But another thing to look out for with Square is they're changing their name to Block, which is kind of a play on the blockchain name. So just like Facebook, they're doing a bit of a company rebranding. And if you do want to read more about that or learn more about that, I'd say go check out Square's website before they change their name to Block. So let's identify some levels of support and resistance here. So the stock is sitting at $181. There's a previous resistance. Well, actually, no, there's a previous support. Yes, support around $164. And then the next level will be about $152. But short term, real time, it looks like it could be reversing slightly. So if you see it fell to a new level of support around $174, it could be uptrending already. The levels I would look out for here is $192 calls, maybe for the beginning of next year. Then we've got a big gap up to $212, and then a bit of a bigger gap up to around $225. And then we still got room to run up back to the 242 level. So overall, if you zoom out on Square, yeah, I think this is a good long-term buy and hold. I think we hit a high of 270. Not sure when it was. We hit a high of 270 here. We hit a high of 270, and then since then we've just been downtrending. It's just been on a sharp downtrend since we hit the 270 level. So maybe eventually gets back up to 270. If you want to look at call options, your best bet is probably some leaps with that one. So it will be interesting to see after this name change what exactly goes on. Speaking of companies that do name changes, let's have a look at Facebook, or what's also known as Meta, FB right now. This has been selling off consistently lately, but long term, this is a great play. As you guys know, I've been invested in Facebook since it was in the 150s. Yes, it has sold off recently, but it can also make its way back up to 340, 350 soon enough. This level 340, 350 that it was at a couple weeks ago. It is sitting at a previous support right now, and I would not be surprised to see it uptrend soon enough. The unfortunate thing is, I wouldn't be surprised to see it downtrend either. So I'll address this more in the Discord, but if you want to look at put options, look at puts towards the $296 level. If you want to look at call options, go give yourself long enough and look at the calls to around 335 to 340 level. Again, I'll give yourself enough time for those. I don't think right now, if I was going to the market tomorrow, this would be the first stock I'd look at. I don't think so. But if you're looking for a long-term buy and hold, yes, then you can look at Facebook. I want to look at CHGG next, ticker symbol CHGG. This is a great long-term buy and hold as well, but you can also play this short-term. Right now, it is around $28. But if you look at the gap up to around $62, this could be a great play. The simple way to trade CHGG is look at the call options for next summer. That's what I would say. 40, 50, maybe even $60 call options for next summer. Long term, for me, it's a good buy at this price. At this price, is a good buy. It can still move up towards $90. It might even go past that towards $110. But right now, look at this chart. Right here, you can see the gap up. There's a great gap up to be filled. So it's at a buying opportunity. Again, with these ones, you might want to try and place your calls for longer out. If you do want to risk it, then check out the $34, $35 call options for mid-December. But I wouldn't risk CHGG for a short-term play. If I was going to do that, it'd have to be probably a day trade because of something that's happening, maybe momentum, maybe a lot of volume picking up, that sort of thing. Now, let's look at one stock which tanked horribly. A stock I talked about in my last video, that is DocuSign, ticker symbol DOCU. So like I said, I talked about this in my last video. Look at this stock. So it closed Thursday around 232, and then Friday it opened around 134. It did almost $100 drop in one day. So what happened with this one is, so you can actually read about this one on ChatterQuant. But basically, they reported earnings, and you might say, oh, their earnings was horrible. No, it actually wasn't. They beat earnings per share, they beat expected revenue, and overall, their earnings wasn't actually that bad, but still, the stock dropped off heavily. So why did it do this? Well, basically, their CEO, in fact, we can actually maybe check it out here. Their CEO basically said that they're struggling to increase demand for their service. But should that warrant such a drop? I do not think so. I mean, stocks that drop this one's dropped 40% in a day. I don't think any stock should be dropping 42% in a day just off any kind of bad news, but definitely not off a mediocre earnings. I mean, if it was a horrible earnings and there was terrible news announced, then maybe. But even this earnings that wasn't that bad, yeah, no. I don't see why a stock would drop 42% in a day. So maybe it was overvalued before. Maybe that was an overreaction to their earnings. But let's have a look at what's been said about DocuSign. I believe you can place some puts on Chewy, just because of what DocuSign did. That might be there might be some correlation there. So let's just check out DocuSign. Let's see DocuSign. There you go, that 42.2% drop. Let's see what's being said. Check Reddit. There you go. Chewy puts next DocuSign events, but yeah, it could be a move. It could be a move. Chewy puts based on what DocuSign did. That would be crazy to see Chewy drop like DocuSign did. I mean, that would definitely be a long-term buying opportunity. But let's go back to the chart. Let's have a look at the buying time just to finish off with this stock. So again, as always, search by ticker, DOCU sign. Let's look at the levels. Let's see if we can identify some support and resistance with it. So zoom out. We'll look at the 4-hour chart. Here we go. So we're 135. Wow, we might have to zoom out even further. It really dropped. See if we can find some support and resistance to look at here. Here we go. Wow. So DocuSign might end up dropping all the way to what? $90? That's a very, very possible scenario. So maybe you just don't want to touch this one yet. And if you do touch this one, you might just want to look at some puts in the short term till it finds some kind of support. But as you guys can clearly see, it is not done yet. It is not done yet. It is not done dropping yet. There's no guarantee it's done. So just because it's sold off from 232 all the way down to 135 doesn't mean it's a good buying price. It could still keep dipping. I mean, you guys can see the chart itself. Fat red candles towards the end. And it looks like, yeah, the next level of support might be the previous resistance around $90. So lastly, let's just take a look at AMC because I'm hearing a lot of rumors that this stock may be dead. Again, Chatterquant, you can look at the news on AMC, see what's being said, social media sentiment. AMC. Wow. Look at this chart. AMC's had a crazy year, but it could just be dropping all the way down to who knows. Back towards $13, $14. Seems like there was a good level of previous resistance at that level. It might even just drop to around $21 and then bounce. Who knows? But AMC is not looking good right now. I mean, we hit $70 in June. I remember that day. And now we just broken a previous support around $30. So we're under $30 and it could just keep falling now. That won't be good for AMC. But again, at the end of the day, it is a meme stock. So you do expect these things can happen. So that's pretty much it for today's video, guys. If you do want to know when I make a video or when I go live, when I've uploaded, make sure to hit the notification bell so you don't miss out. And as for me, I work with my Discord on a very close basis every single day. So if you're in the Discord, you know what's up. If you're in the Discord, you'll be seeing my watch list tomorrow, my real watch list for this week. The stocks I broke down today are just for entertainment purposes. Just have a look at them, give you guys something to do. But again, make sure you guys check out that Discord. Come and join us. It's only $15 per month. You make that back in a few days, most likely. And then lastly, make sure you guys check out the Stock Options Starter Pack. Stock Options Starter Pack will teach you a lot about stock options, about how to trade, what terminology is out there, all that good stuff. So make sure you guys check that out. And then, yeah. But that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I've got money to making. You got money to making. See you guys next time for another video. Peace.
Game over.